welcome back to the LEC stage, not stage actually, tunnel. Here with flakked. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Congrats on winning this one. I have to talk about the bot lane.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how disgusting is it?
It was pretty disgusting, but it's so fun to play those comps. Like you just go like 5-man. I mean, when we went bot, we just went 5-man on a late, no macro, no nothing. Just go 5-man ADM anywhere you want. And just press W and it bangs.
Feels like it's going to take over in the LEC, and we're going to not mostly see these kind of bot lanes, but more and more. Would you agree? And how much you can play these kind of champions, and is it flexible?
I mean, maybe we have like some things, you know, like prepared for next matches, Candle League match. But I mean, I think right now you can play a lot of stuff on bot lane. As well, the support item strat might be a bit broken, or maybe not, I don't know. But it low-key banged this game.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Seraphine is not really flexible, right? I don't think you can play it in other lanes, maybe mid lane. But like, there are some other combos that maybe are more flexible.
I feel like it's the kind of combo that suits your playstyle and the rest of the team. Would you agree on this?
Yeah, I mean, I know there was like the meme on like in G2 that it was like Seraphine one trick, even though it wasn't like my most played champion, but I don't mind. But you know, like the Seraphine one trick, it paid off today.
All right, let's talk about the whole team. You all played really well, bot lane especially. But Sjokz got the key player of the game here. What do you have to say on this?
Sure. I mean, just let the old man just, you know, just get his moment of joy. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know who deserves the MVP. I don't think we like did much. It was like pretty chill game. So, I mean, I guess Sjokz, I mean, he did play good fights. But I cannot really judge because there was like Nocturne ulti, so I wasn't seeing shit. But I mean, maybe Sjokz, he played good, yeah.
All right. Talking about the whole team and the memes about them being old guys, retirement home and everything, how hard is it for you, flakked, to keep the old dudes just motivated and good at the game, actually?
I mean, I think the old dudes, they really motivate themselves. Right. They all really want to prove something. I don't think Kaiser is like in the old group. I think it's more for like Perks and Sjokz. But like, I think everyone here has to prove something, you know. Everyone here wants to, you know, shut up some mouths. And, you know, we show up every day, we train really hard, and it's paying off. So I don't think I need to, you know, like push or like do anything. I think everyone is really motivated and really professional, and I love this team.
About shutting up the haters, we have Mad Lions Koi playing next, and I feel like that was the goal they had jumping into the LEC last week. Who do you think is going to take the next one? The veterans and winners, G2, your former team, with the guy in the top lane who stole your pose shamelessly, or the new guys in Mad Lions? What do you think?
I mean, I'm not sure. I think both teams can take the win. I mean, the way G2 has been drafting lately, they are not like showing, you know, like that dominant bot lane matches. They're not going for the Draven, you know, like Kalista, or just playing for bot basically. They're like these days going for the Aphelios and like playing from like not behind but like without prio. So I'm not sure how they will draft, but I mean, I just really want a banger. You know, I've like mixed feelings. I really like both teams, and I mean, I really hope they both win, but they can't. But I'm just hoping for a banger when like Mad Lions and Keiko were playing, that game banged. So I'm just really looking forward for another 40-minute banger.
All right, let's hope both teams have fun then. Thank you so much for the interview. And Sjokz, over to you for more on that game.
Thank you so much. Hello, you're right there. Thank you so much, flakked, as well, as it is time for G2 Esports versus Mad Lions Koi. We wanted to do something special because of kind of all the fan interaction last week, but it's kind of quiet, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, so far, who knows when the game starts?
What's going on? I don't know. We'll start talking about it. Anyways, so, wait, what did I hear? Someone's trying to say something.
Cap's dad.
Caps' dad. He's always there. Actually, through thick and thin, through winter, summer, he's always there. So shout out to Cap's dad, Michael, of course. But getting into this matchup, both teams actually come into week 2 with a similar week 1. They both went 2-1. But we want to read into that a little bit more, specifically on the side of G2, because regardless of having the winning record, even a 2-1, I feel like you both were not exactly super happy with what you saw.
I mean, flakked just said it himself, right? G2 bot lane has not really played for the lane dominant style that they have in the past. I think the G2 that we're all used to seeing is the one that snowballs really hard in the early game. Sure, they had some hiccups at Worlds in mid game like they described themselves, but I think they're diving a bit too deep into their problem and kind of trying to reverse engineer their problem in a way and fix their mid game and just kind of drop their early game. but it hasn't really worked out so far, I would say, even though they have 2 wins on the board.
Yeah, but I also think it's really when you compare it to the expectations of G2, because G2 is a team that everyone expected to be the best team, to bring out the best style, and that style, as you said yourself, has mainly been through the early game. But the early game so far hasn't been too great for them. Actually, in a lot of their wins, they've had to punish the enemy mistake rather than themselves gaining a lead. Against BDS, it was BDS overloading bot side, and they could get a Baron off it. Against Karma and Corp, it was Karma and Corp overreaching on mid lane, and they could come through with a TP flank to then get back into the game. But they've not been able to replicate this style we've seen from them, where they win the lanes, they get the objectives, and then they play it out by simply just choking out their opponent.
Yeah, we know G2 has good players, right? Obviously, they can punish mistakes in mid-game and so on. But I think what they want to do is have this solid early game and then kind of flesh out the mid-game fully. But when you're just playing even or even a bit behind from mid-game, it's kind of hard to practice it. And I think that they haven't been happy with the results so far. And I think this week they're coming in with, honestly, they need some more fire in the early game. They need to start drafting these Draven lanes and kind of punish bot lane, because that's what worked for them before.
I'm hearing a lot of bot. Is that what you're mostly not happy with, or is that because you're a support?
I mean, I am kind of biased as a support myself, but I do think that they have so much power in the bot lane that they're not using. I think it's also comes from that, where if you just farm 5 lanes, but you're really good players, you want to see them punish harder and go for these 2v2 kills, and I think we just haven't seen it yet, and it's something that they did really well in the past.
Yeah, but I also think it's where you have the mismatch. If you can compare Hansama's stats to what they look like in the past, if you had his winter stats, for example, last year, it is him absolutely tearing up the opposition. That's when they brought out the Draven. That's when they started having the win lane, win game mentality. And then let's talk about the journey of G2, because then it was in spring, figuring out that they were super dominant against everyone. Then they got cocky and they got knocked out, couldn't even make it to finals. They got to MSI, got their weaknesses exposed by the Asian teams, and then suddenly in summer and the semi-final, or the season finals rather, they start being this scary team again, but they then get punished again on the international stage. But this entire story now of this entire journey where they built themselves up, it feels like it's been caught off in the middle now. They don't have the same fundamentals than they used to, and now suddenly we're just looking at a team that's not fully able to replicate why they used to have the success.
Not yet. We're harsh on them, right? Because they are harsh on themselves.
Because we have high
to.
expectations of G2, and I think that's why you're even harsher.
We absolutely do. And on the other side, we have Mad Lions Koi, and I think our expectations were like, okay, we're not actually sure how much is Elyoya going to be able to do with these guys. But coming out, I mean, it looks like they're playing together phenomenally. We even had Supa getting a pentakill in that insane match versus KC to end off week 1. I think overall, Elyoya even said, I think they're the best bot lane in Europe. I mean, it's going well for them.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the best bot lane in Europe and you play against G2, that's a pretty good way to show it right today. So I think that's obviously what they're looking to do. And Supa with the pentakill, he played really confident. And I think as well, the bot lane in general played really confident. And when you have 5 guys that want to play together, it shows on stage. And so far, they've definitely shown it.
I'm so happy to see this confidence come out from Supa as well, because at EMEA Masters, had Kalis not been a player, then Supa would have been the most hyped up AD carry coming into the LEC this split. And he's still able to play with the same kind of confidence that they're having. But also, the expectations to Supa and Hansama are completely different, right? Supa came in and most of Mad Lions, no one really expected anything out of them, but they've completely exceeded the expectations that you had to this team.
Well, maybe you didn't expect anything.
I did not expect this, and I'll be honest with it. I think most people didn't.
Yeah.
And while the gameplay isn't perfect, of course you can point fingers at Mad Lions. What I really though like to see of Mad Lions is the fact that they're still keeping up the aggression. If they win the lane, they are not scared of going in for invade through Elyoya. They're not scared to look for plays. If anything, it looks like sometimes they can look for too many plays or there's too many voices. But it's a good problem to have in the beginning for a team like this.
It is, and we talked about EMEA Masters rather, and also just their performance as Movistar riders as well. And we talked about the possible similarities, and you're definitely still seeing signs of what that core is used to playing around.
No, absolutely. And I think from the Mad Lions Koi position, again, it's still Elyoya having a mid laner that can facilitate him. If anything, they have more top laner power now through Myrwn, where they can actually try and play 3 different sides of the map. It still feels like if you want to get ahead of MDK, it is through top side or through bot side that you want to play. And Fresskiowy, I still think he's yet to show what he's fully capable of.
We're going to casters in just a second, but treatz, it sounds like from G2 we're being very harsh because we want to see more, and on the other side from Mad Lions Koi we're so surprised, and we also want to see more.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you want to see the teams perform up to their potential, right? And I think G2 hasn't showed it yet. I think Mad has showed a lot of promise, but they obviously have a lot to go as well. So this match will be really exciting, especially on bot lane. I want to see some high picks. Maybe no double Sporta in this game.
No, they're going to
see some Draven lanes, perhaps, some kill lanes. I would love to see that.
Yeah, everyone should do it, probably. We just don't want to see it. Let's head over to our casters for G2 versus Mad Lions Koi.
Thank you very much, Sjokz. We are your casters for Mad Lions versus Koi. Mad Lions versus G2, in fact, or MDK versus Oh my!
You'll get there. Don't worry. It's all right.
My
Look,
goodness!
You know, it's the start of the week.
Take a seat, man.
It's like a Monday morning for us,
yeah,
right?
know,
So, you know,
right?
you're just starting to get into the week.
Just warming up.
It's like, yeah, it'll all be fine. It'll be okay.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, we are here. Welcome to the show.
We are professionals occasionally.
Occasionally. I'm Medic, this is Dadga. We're here for the last 2 games of the day, and I'm really looking forward to it. You know, MDK versus G2, likely to be the best game of the day, at least if you look at it coming into the week.
Yeah, I think a huge amount of this as well is like kind of Mad Lions trying to bounce back from what was a bit of a disappointment over the weekend where they weren't able to pick up as many wins as they would have liked to, and then as well coming in for G2, the Rogue managing to take them down as well.
Yeah.
Every time I've seen G2 lose a game like that, the next opponent really regrets it because they come back absolute menaces. So Mad Lions Koi definitely going to have their work cut out for them here today.
Let's see if they can keep up the form that they showed last week, going 2-1 across the course of the weekend. G2, as you say, the same. And I think the question for MDK is, can they keep up that form? Can they maintain what we saw in week 1, or was it a bit of a honeymoon phase on the stage for the first time for a lot of these players? Will G2 be able to even out some of the issues that they had last week as well?
Yeah, I think it's been really interesting to see because for G2, they've kind of gone for a lot of these hyper-scaling compositions, right? You're looking at like Gwen and Jack's top, and then you're looking at Felios every game for Hans Sama. It feels like they're trying to play for a strong mid game and a strong late game, but it's been those early stages where it's kind of fallen apart, where you'll see like Yike tries to go for Void Grubs, and suddenly bot lane is getting dove 3 times in a row. So I think it's trying to smooth out that early game process to try and help them out, but it's also where kind of Mad Lions Koi have been at their strongest is, hey, we're going to get Elyoya down to that bot side, we're going to set up Supa for success. So I think this is going to be a real test for G2 to make sure that they have kind of put the brakes on the opposition's early stages.
And I wonder if we will still keep seeing a Felios, because he was hotfixed on 14.1b, which is the patch we're playing on this weekend. He's not as strong as he was, still very powerful in the right hands, but I wonder if Hans Sama and G2 kind of went to the Aphelios because they saw the patch notes last week and it's like, oh, you're hotfixing this guy? He must be pretty broken. Maybe they'll go back to something a little bit stronger in the early game, like the Kallistas, like the Dravens that we have seen from G2 earlier on. Obviously one of the teams that kept their roster through the off-season, something we don't see teams do too often. And I think it's a sign of trust in this roster, but the question is whether they can repay that trust by continuing to show growth over this year.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would have been disappointed to see this G2 project abandoned, right? Because this definitely feels like one of the teams that's like, hey, we're not just looking at can we win in Europe, it's how do we try and become the best version of this team so then we can win on an international stage as well. Now, obviously, didn't quite make it there at Worlds, but it still feels like, hey, even with the strategy that we're just talking about, like play for mid to late game, that feels like this is what we're trying to work on at the moment, and it always feels like that's what G2 has in mind when they play.
Yeah, and that's why they brought Duffman in as well,
exactly.
right? He was there to analyze some of those larger, overarching issues that G2 have been struggling with. We do have a small game delay on stage. League officials are investigating some audio issues with some of the players, and that will be rectified, obviously, as soon as we possibly can. Wouldn't be the LEC without a short delay, although we have been pretty much on time across the course of today so far. I've said that now, so it's cursed.
Thanks for that.
I am leaving. See, here's the thing. I'm leaving tomorrow. Right?
Yeah.
I'm going on holiday for 2.5 weeks, so I'm just going to lay down every single curse I can think of.
Just to extend this entire day for yourself.
Things going swimmingly, nothing's breaking.
Yeah.
We're definitely not having any pauses. It's a quiet day here, isn't it?
Mate, I have to work early tomorrow. I'm on the early shift tomorrow. I'd appreciate if we didn't do this.
We're here till 2 a.m. now, man.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen. If we go over midnight, can we charge an extra day rate? These are the important questions we've got to ask.
Yeah, true.
You know?
All right, maybe I am down for this. Maybe.
If you're a freelance lawyer based in Berlin, reach out to us. We've got some questions. But on the other side of the river, we talked a little bit about G2, obviously, but I think MDK obviously had a very good start to the split. Some people wondered whether they'd take a little bit of time to ramp up, but they came out of the gate swinging, and you can see the pre-existing synergy that already exists within this team.
Yeah, and obviously you're looking at like Supa and Alvaro, who've been absolutely amazing down on that bottom side of the map. Supa picking up his pentakill against Carmine Corp the last day, but I do think that they're a team that kind of has the same, as you say, the same identity. That was a popper going off from coming in from EMEA Masters, which is, hey, we're kind of bot or bust. And I feel like that's something that SK did very well against them, was like, hey, Isma is going to come in, he's going to split the map, make sure there's no reason for Elyoya to be in that bot side, and then they can punish Supa and make sure that he's not getting these big leads. So I think that's kind of the way that we're going to start to see teams address this squad. And I think then it becomes on people like Myrwn, like we saw against Karmine Corp, to have these pop-off games in Akali and say, hey, look, you still have to pay attention to this top side of the map as well. We aren't just a fundamentally one-tune team.
And I think that's the power of Myrwn as well, because he does have things like the top lane fiddlesticks in the back of his repository. He's got so many cool picks. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing one on stage. I will say, often scrim picks do not translate to stage because players play more passively. They're more willing to give up a wave or a lane to make sure that they're not giving you kills, not giving over too many objectives to the enemy team. So it's possible Myrwn will never get his hands on anything spicy, but one can hope.
I want it so bad.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I mean, he's played, like, even on stage, he's played things like Varus in the top lane, he's played tank Karma, he's played the Fiddlesticks top, so, like, I'm hoping that we actually get to see a little bit of that identity come through, but I think it puts a lot of pressure onto players as well, because it's like, hey, if we give this team counter pick on red side and Myrwn just gets to do what he wants, God only knows what that man is bringing to the top lane, so I think he gets to make himself a bit of an identity here and make himself a bit of a threat that at least G2 will have to try and deal with here today.
It does also put a lot of pressure on him if he picks something like that, though.
Gotcha.
You just have to look back to things like the NASA support that we saw at Worlds. If it messes up, if it goes wrong, it haunts you for the rest of your career often, and you have to really outperform those expectations to be able to get away from that skeleton in your closet.
Yeah, but I think when you're a newer player, that's kind of the time to give it a shot and experiment, because it's like, look, obviously, you kind of get that opportunity to say, hey, you made a mistake, you're a rookie coming in, it's not the end of the road, but at least you're trying something different and trying to find your way onto the main stage. So I'd rather see him try and go for it and make something of himself rather than just kind of sticking to the safe options. And especially when he performs so well in the Akali too, I think you can kind of see that this man has the carry options available, and I think not taking advantage of that is a mistake.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, but as we wait to resolve the issues on the stage, we're going to send it back over to Sjokz. Take it away.
Wow.
Thank you. You think, oh no, there's a pause. But wait.
There's
Reveal?
more pauses.
Okay. Wait. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Janko's mic is not on, I don't think. Are all your mics on? Can you do me a test? Hello?
1, 2, 3. Does this work?
Oh, I can't hear you at all.
Oh,
Oh, but on broadcast, it's fine.
really?
So you're fine. Yes, they can hear you at home. I just have you double, so I'm just going to take this out. But hi, guys.
Hello.
Why are you here?
I don't know. I think we are just taking over.
You are?
Yeah.
The LEC.
Did you see that it was such a disaster last week? So you're like, we got to go help.
Oh, doing the pause?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
You did?
I didn't want any fans to feel bad again, so I stepped up instead.
Okay. Do you have any fun ideas?
After 9.
He's staring at me like that.
Okay, we are actually just here because yeah, we are the new analyst desk and Guldborg. Like, I'm the better Guldborg, so this is why I'm here. I'm not sure why these guys are here actually. Okay, tell us why you guys are here.
I'm not sure whose job I'm taking. I'm kind of old, so I can take like Kadral's job maybe. I'm
Or
the better
mine.
Kadral.
Yeah.
I'm watching the Analyst desk and it's just time for some new blood.
Oh, is it? What did you not like?
Die hat Sascha
Oh
vorbeigebracht.
wow, that's personal.
I actually was not watching.
Oh my god.
She called me in a lie. I can't. Okay, I was lying.
It's okay. I can ask for your analysis then. So G2 is about to play Mad Lions Koi.
Maybe we should get the drafts on the screen.
I don't think they drafted yet.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
maybe we should get the previous drafts on the screen.
We can
the
get
previous
previous
analysis
drafts.
now,
We
yeah.
can, yeah.
I can just say like a magic
But
word.
we are actually playing
I
G2
can say a
tomorrow.
magic word and then like...
Oh, because you're playing them tomorrow. That's right.
Yeah,
so
we
you
are,
actually
we are,
can't
we are.
say too much. I
Yeah.
think we have last week's draft. Can anyone confirm to me that people at home can hear them? Because otherwise... Oh, you're working on it. Okay, maybe they heard nothing?
Hello?
Now we can hear perks at least, to begin.
Wait, just you?
They
Okay.
can't hear us. Okay.
No.
okay.
We heard everyone but perks.
Okay.
Which maybe
mean,
that's ideal.
Which is actually completely fine because I only yep.
Okay, cool. So we'll get maybe production if you get a draft from G2 from last week, but you're playing that tomorrow, so you can't say anything. But you did get your butts handed to you by Mad Lions Koi, no?
Oh, they're playing Mad Lions?
Yeah. So what about them?
What about them?
I mean, I don't think that they are that good compared to...
Bro, they completely demolished us.
Okay, come on, but it's like different, you know? I'm like super ego now because we won 3 games in a row.
Okay, they
But
looked a
after
bit
you win 3
better.
games in a row, you have so much ego.
They looked a bit better than they are, and we looked a lot worse than we are, I think. That game. A specific game, that game, because of grabs. I mean, Peter Dunn.
Oh my God.
But you know what I heard? Also, I was doing PGL with SK, but I heard this from more people actually. They all were like, "Oh, Heretics actually won 2 games. What's going on? Where did they get that wonder?"
They got it from scrims, I think.
Oh.
But we are getting better, and we are just showing our veteranship today by being really good on stage. We are like stage players. We are treating every single game like it's the MSI finals, and we all know how that went.
Yeah.
Quick 3-0. So that's what we're going to do this week.
Yeah, flakked was saying that you're a new man. You're like super serious. No more WoW, only scrims. Or
Solo
actually,
queue.
apparently not very good in scrims, but
Like, he plays so much solo queue as
Yeah.
well.
He does
Yeah?
play solo queue.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying.
it's the new arc. But it also means you're not flaming anymore, apparently. Even on Twitter.
No, I'm flaming. I mean, the issue, okay, I mean, flakked tried to explain it, but the issue is that it's like, I mean, I don't understand what they're
Wait,
writing.
guys, we have draft
Oh,
on
we're
the
going
skin,
into the
actually.
draft.
We're going into the draft.
Wait,
I
don't
mean,
that mean that
you can talk about the draft, yeah.
Okay,
you
I'm
can.
down to talk about the draft.
But you're playing that tomorrow, so just know that. You know,
Yeah.
you know that.
I mean, we know for sure why they banned Udyr, right? Like, they all watched the game we just played.
I mean,
Udyr-
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Udyr was like a
Udyr was
menace.
very
He
strong
was
in
a
our
menace on the Rift.
But was it the player or was it the champion?
It was the player. So I don't know why they banned it. Because we saw Sugenda played it the game before, right? And it didn't look as clean.
But generally, it's pretty strong.
Generally, it's pretty strong. Generally, it's pretty strong.
I mean, the drafts are quite straightforward, I guess. Everyone is just...
We don't talk about hovers, okay, guys? We don't make that mistake.
Okay.
We don't want to be like Guldborg or whatever.
He's just getting roasted being next to us. Well, I would just
yeah.
want to mention that bot lane role is very balanced. And as you can see, there's 3 bot lane bans and also 2 bot lanes being first picked.
Yeah, it's
So is
super
Riot
balanced.
planning to do anything about that role that has been completely broken for so long now?
I don't know.
I just want to put it out there that support item has been so OP.
But you're not happy for it? Because last game, like, you guys just...
Yeah, I mean, you can
Roll
go
over
double
them.
support item. I guess
Yeah,
that was
I
kinda
guess.
OP.
Actually, don't fix it. It's fine. It's fine, guys. I mean, come on. I was just joking.
It's our only way to win against the Eastern team.
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, we are very old, so we need to abuse game mechanics to
Okay,
win.
speak for yourself, okay?
Yeah.
I am very
I'm
old, so
in the
I need
peak age, peak male age right now, 25, peaking here. And you're
Okay.
maybe 30, so you're maybe a
Actually,
Okay, I'm not 30, but think about it.
Our
I did
average
win.
age is 25 on the team, so like we are actually peaking.
You're
This is why
peaking
we are
right
winning.
now.
True, actually. When I was 25, I won a Messiah.
Okay, back to the draft. It's a Vi, Azir here for G2. Very strong champions in the meta. We might play them tomorrow,
Good
might not.
combination.
You never know.
Good combination, yeah. And we will see their response. They should probably respond. They respond with a
They
support pick.
responded with Renata. The
The
Renata
Renata
class.
into the.
Into the
Okay, how much can we say, guys?
into the Varus Azir Vi. Yeah, they
Yeah,
picked
really
Renata
good
into
pick, really
these
good pick,
champions.
really
It's
good
harder than it looks, no? You're like, into the... Oh, they didn't pick it yet.
No. It's like, it's because
the
we are
Varus.
we're talking about draft.
Not reveal our
Yeah.
secret
Oh, of
information for
course.
tomorrow.
Sorry.
But we might yep out
Yeah.
something completely.
Yeah.
They
It's
did do ban Blitzcrank against Mikyx.
Wait,
Is that
they're
a
banning
good ban?
Blitzcrank against Renata? Okay, I didn't know that's a thing.
This is funny. Actually, all you can give only wrong information so that when they're watching for you...
But we have to give like a mix, you know?
Yeah,
yeah.
Because otherwise they just reverse everything.
as well.
Okay, I do think the jungle pool being pinched here, it might, you kind of want like a good jungler with, in combination with your range support and your Neeko mid lane.
That's very smart said, yeah.
Yeah.
What would you pick here if it were you?
I would pick Iron. Because Iron is just OP. I mean, nerf right.
Actually, Iron is
I
Iron is
cannot
OP,
win
yeah.
against
OP.
Iron in solo queue, so please nerf it. Iron will be OP here.
Okay, I think they're gonna pick, oh, I would have said Viego, you know, but now they already hovered it, so it's like...
So you're like a hindsight analyst.
I'm
You're
like a
Guldborg.
hindsight. Yeah, pretty much.
Poor guy. But
I'm
it's
like,
Viego.
Guldborg just like, probably paid a little bit more. Okay, wait. Okay, cut. Moving on with the draft,
Okay, sorry, Guldborg.
We're gonna make a segment out of this. Don't worry, Guldborg. Don't worry about it. You'll get him back. Cassante.
Cassante. Yeah.
Guldborg is gonna make a whole segment of about how worst Wunder is. Just wait. for
Okay,
it.
I saw the
You're
top
in 2
lane.
weeks.
I saw the top lane segment today, and I was not even in it. So like,
Oh, that makes sense
Oh,
actually.
that's
So
why he-
that's why
that's
he's
why.
roasting.
No,
Yeah.
you know what it is? We had like good and bad. We had like
And I'm just
sad.
nothing.
No, you're like mid.
Oh, you're mid.
Oh, yeah, man, bro.
that's what I mean. That's what I
He
mean.
just called you mid.
Okay, yeah. No, that's completely fine. You know what?
yeah.
You know what? I'm actually completely fine with that.
I mean, I don't know if that's true, but Guldborg made the list.
They picked Zyra, by the way. Okay.
Guldborg made the list.
Did Guldborg consider that the two players that were Ashe were playing Wunder?
It's the Gwen last pick.
It is the Gwen last pick.
Can you do some analysis about the
So
draft?
apparently Myrwn is a Gwen OTP. It did get nerfed though on 14.1b. So
it's Mikyx with Zyra, by the way. So
I also want to give a big shout out to Mikyx to Zyra.
Very hard that we not react to this.
The champion is, by the way, very OP.
It's Zyra. Laure.
Zyra.
It's Zyra.
Okay.
It's Zyra.
It is Zyra, yeah.
The
Yeah?
good thing about Zyra
Mikyx
is the
is
suck
being
item.
Zyra.
Suck really OP.
Zyra support item. Nerf, please, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because Max.
It's really good
Yeah,
with the new
very
item.
good.
Yeah, with the new support items, it's actually really good.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
Zag is
yeah.
a super good poke item.
Okay.
Zigzag item is
So,
It's
Blood
fine,
Song,
Zag.
Hey guys,
please
we're
nerf
going to the
Zag,
game
please nerf.
soon, and I would like to thank you all for watching.
yeah. Thank you
Don't
all
leave.
for being here.
Like, thank you for watching,
You
but stay
can
around.
actually give it to the casters whenever you want. Is it now?
Can we like what
Wait,
do
who
we
is
say
casting?
normally?
That depends.
You
because
just
if it's
do like, okay, we have the draft now. It's time for the game or something.
Okay.
We have the draft.
We have all the co-viewers watching. Please take it away, and the casters, of course, of this lovely
The
stream.
co-streamers, not the casters.
Co-viewers, co-streamers, and the
Yeah.
casters. We love all of you. Please enjoy this really beautiful game that we're about to witness. Thank you. Take it away.
Oh my god, that was clean.
That was actually clean, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, so now we can content, right?
Yeah.
Wonder
Oh, yeah,
sounded a
Winter
little bit
Split.
like he was
Yeah.
saying grace.
I feel
we
under-
just want to thank you for this game and for the people that provided it for us, and it's great, you know.
I also feel under pressure now to live up to the expectations Jankos has set on me.
I mean, that's-
I will never know if I live up to his expectations.
That is true, but I will say, having seen them do the draft,
Yeah, I feel a lot better
I'm never
about
going to feel
mine.
bad about my draft ever again. And we are back. We're going to get into the game, G2 versus MDK. MDK setting up down towards the bottom side of the map, just trying to make sure that Hansama doesn't get a free push in here. Now, Hansama shouldn't face check this by himself. He'll take a little bit of chip damage, will be slowed as well, but should just be able to walk away. Loses the ward for it, though.
Sad time.
It's, I mean, it's one extra CS to Supa. If they had two, they would hit level 2 a slightly earlier
I was
in the
going to say, it
lane.
means absolutely nothing for that.
Yeah, but if there was another ward placed, hypothetically, Rob.
Just another one.
Yeah, just another one. What's all that about, you know? If you get 2 wards early, I would get all of them.
Look, you're throwing me through a loop with this one. Let's move on, right? So, Mickey, I actually think it's really cool that we're getting to see the Zyra come out, because in patch 13.21, she did get a bunch of buffs. A lot of us to the AP ratios versus the base damage, but I am curious to see with how much extra gold you get, and also having, as the lads were saying, the Zax on the support item, you just tend to get a lot more damage coming out. So I think we might get to see Mickey popping off a little bit in this one, and into the composition that MDK have, which in theory wants to try and dive you as well and get access to that back line. I think it's a really solid pick here.
Stranglethorns can do a lot of work when the enemy's trying to get on top of you. Alvaro going to trade onto Mickey here. Mickey is running first strike as well on the Zyra, so expects to be able to chip down a bit of damage from long range, get that extra gold in his pocket. I doubt we'll see double support items with a Varus Zyra. Usually you want it on someone where you can deliberately farm the minions, and Zyra does so much incidental damage that she loses her stacks.
Yeah.
While trying to trade in the lane.
Yeah, I think as well it's because it's going to be poke Varus, probably not going to be something that you can kind of use a lot of those support items on. You could go for Zyzix, but I think just the amount of damage that you get off the lethality at the moment, he's just so incredibly strong. And again, I think for G2 trying to play at range with this sort of composition is going to work out fantastically. So it makes sense kind of across the board. And at the moment, I'm kind of surprised that we're not getting a little bit more push on the bot side. I did expect with Zyra, I'm not going to lie, I haven't prepped a lot of Zyra coming into today, but I thought she'd get a little bit more push on the bot side, but I suppose we're starting off with the Q. You're not going to get as much as just with Supa having the W and the extra range on you.
Yeah, I feel like after level 2, level 3, when you can start putting down plants deliberately, it becomes a little bit easier to trade in the lane, right? Because you can deliberately force the wave out. It has been 2 years since we last saw a Zyra here in the LEC. It was played by Targamas last in 2022, which I think would have been his G2 time, right? 2022, the year that G2 forgot, as Elyoya looks for a bit of an invade. Yike coming across as well, does have the smite. Won't land it on the red. That's stolen by Elyoya to kick us off. So first couple of objectives, that one ward and the red buff steal going over to MDK.
And I do like the way MDK play this. Like, a lot of the times they will take these more skirmish-orientated... Actually, hang on, Supa taking a lot of damage, but these more skirmish-orientated junglers where you can get an advantage in the 1v1. Like, he's played a lot of Xin Zhao, now you got the Viego as well. And up against something like a Vi, you can oftentimes, especially if you get the support of Alvaro, put a lot of pressure onto the enemy jungle. And, ooh, Fresskiowy, actually.
He's using those Ashe auto attacks, can look for the root as well, but Caps dodges to the side of it expertly. There's the power of Neeko stealing away the Ashe. You get the extra range on the auto attacks. You can try and harass down the enemy laner. Mikyx here, seeing perhaps if they can catch out Alvaro, but even with Yike coming across, Elyoya is in the area. We might see another one of those skirmishes as MDK look to react to this push by G2. Flash forward by Alvaro, flash away by Mikyx, but the Spectral Maw, the heal for the movement speed. Spectral Maw stun going down as well as Mikyx falls low, 100 HP on him. He will fall first, the bailout available for Elyoya, but he doesn't even need it. As they chase onto Hans Summer, can't quite get the damage down. They're still looking for a little bit more. Hans will be able to flash this wall, and MDK get first blood.
But this is the problem that we've seen with G2 pretty much in all of their games so far, is going for these aggressive plays and a backfiring in the early stages. And you see that they don't have push on mid, so Caps can't try and come. You've already got the reset coming, or sorry, the control for Elyoya to try and get down here. And Mikyx doesn't even realize he's standing on a ward this entire time. So Elyoya able to respond incredibly well. And from this position, Mikyx just in an awful spot. So as Alvaro ends up burning the flash, it's easy chase down potential for Elyoya with the speed up off of Z. And I mean, even here for Hans Sama, he ends up having to burn the flash, but nearly end up having to burn the cleanse here. That just barely missing on the route there. And then Hans Sama forced the flash over the wall. So big win for the MDK bot lane off of G2 over-aggressing.
Yeah, all their summoners already burnt on the side of G2, and Supa with the slows from the auto attacks. If you're ever caught out by that now, if Supa dodges the grasping thorns, grasping roots, the E from the Zyra, it's going to be very difficult for Mikyx or Hans Summer to escape. Still the cleanse available for Hans Summer. We have seen a few cleanses off an Ashe auto attack slow, and sometimes they are viable plays. Often it's not the best play to make because she just autos you again and then you're slow again.
Yeah, I think this is where it starts to get even more threatening now for G2 on this bottom side, because something that I've seen quite a lot, specifically against G2, is that Yike would try and go for the Void Grubs, and immediately Elyoya goes for the... Fresskiowy forced the flash from Caps, but immediately go for the dive on bot lane, and Elyoya is going to try and do just that after spotting Yike on that top side. So this is where I think for G2, we might see a little bit more action in this bot side.
And it's also why I think Fresskiowy went for that play in mid. He did hit level 6 first, so he knew Caps couldn't just shuffle him out. But if you burn Caps' flash, now Caps TPing to this bot lane tower becomes a lot more precarious, right? If you know that Caps has had to reset, maybe even staying to shove out the wave, he's now half health. Can Caps actually respond to this if a play goes down? Because BrokenBlade doesn't have the TP, but Fresskiowy has his and Myrwn has his. Elyoya is spotted. Yike's working his way across here. Still no summoners for Mikyx. Elyoya might just want to get out of this though. Grasping Roots just short and is forced away by Yike.
Yeah, they mistimed the wave push on the bottom side, so the wave doesn't crash into the tower. You can't really look for the dive off that initial crash, and then you're kind of stuck in this no man's land as G2 have that wave just precariously in front of the tower. So Elyoya spent a little bit too long on the bottom side. Did at least get the camps away from Yike on that bot end, so he'll stay even on the jungle camps, but not exactly the dive that they were looking for.
Still, overall, a lead for MDK early in this game, about 1,000 gold ahead. Some of that as well on Myrwn in the top lane, who is out-farming his lane opponent. You can see BrokenBlade just trying to trade in, but Gwen always known as a good pick into the Cassante. A little bit more difficult when Yike is here to help, though. Myrwn, no flash, remember, and will be taken down. G2 finally on the board.
Yeah, not giving him any sort of opportunity. As he's saying, flashless, because he's taking the Ignite on that top side, so nice little pickup, and gives BrokenBlade a little bit of control, which means Yike can now start up these Void Grubs. Elyoya in the area, but unless Alvaro can get up here quicker, I don't think you really want to try and go for this. So BrokenBlade kind of low off the back of the play on top side.
Yeah, no TP for BrokenBlade as well. So with the patience resetting, Alvaro is moving towards this mid lane as well. I think it becomes a little bit easier for MDK to play around it. Elyoya not even going for the grubs, realizing, well, Yike's reset off it. Is he just going to go for his blue buff? That's exactly what he did. Elyoya is still on the chase here. Yike should be able to walk to the safety of his tower, but it might even just be a blue buff steal into some grubs here for MDK.
Yeah, and they'll be pretty happy about it. Fresskiowy, as the Ashe, going to move across here to make sure that he can try and position here to help them out. But with Yike being pushed back, and also Mikyx is kind of pushing up into the area, but they just realized for G2, there's no way they can try and contest this. But the good news for MDK as well is that you can't really go for any sort of counterplay on the bottom side because you push Yike out of the equation as well. So Badlands kind of get to take this just off of a nice timing window.
Yeah, Supa was there first as well on his reset to push out. Arrow going through the mid lane, Caps able to walk below it. And you can see Supa actually moving out of vision, making sure he wasn't just standing in bot lane firing arrows out while the minions could see him or any wards could see him to try and catch out Caps. Can't quite achieve it, but it's 3 Void Grubs over to MDK. G2 will try to exchange it for a dragon, and they should be able to pick this one up because Supa has to answer the push that came out in the bottom wave. Alvaro has to move from top side to bot side to make sure he's there to protect his AD carry. G2 will have a small window for the next few moments where they could look to play around this bottom side. They have more vision control. They can expect Elyoya's on the top side of the map. You can see Yike hovering in the area. I wonder if he's missed his opportunity here to try and push in for that blue.
Yeah, I think you got to try and back away here as G2. Just
just fight all the time, man. It's been 9 minutes. We've had 2 kills.
I mean, look, it's been a bit of a slow, but at least they're attempting to try and make stuff happen. Elyoya now in the mid lane as well, but you can see. Thank you for pointing it out there. The double support item actually picked up, so it is going to be a double Zyzx in the bot lane. I thought that maybe you just go straight for the lethality, but I mean, the support items, it just gives you so much gold, and it's absolutely absurd. So the way this set tends to work is that you actually might have to hold on to this point as Caps.
Will be spotted by Elyoya. Caps, no flash on him. Shuffles back and shuffles out himself. Yike now under pressure from Elyoya. Did move away from his red buff, but actually looking at the way the bot lane's pushed up, I don't know if Elyoya can go any deeper here. You can see Mikyx and Hansama would be the first ones to react. Both have the level 6. Elyoya's going very hard for this. The blast cone available, but the cease and desist into the grasping moves will knock him out. Yike still trading in. Fresskiowy moving from the mid lane. Elyoya will fall, but the bailout will bring him back, and now MDK can start to open up. Hansama caught out once again as he will go out. And now Mikyx trying to escape. Only has the flash. Good grasping moves, but will it be enough? Elyoya chasing in, and his 3 quick kills over to MDK.
And MDK just control the jungle of G2. This is again Elyoya going for these aggressive invades. It looked a little bit suspect, especially when I saw he didn't have the ultimate to try and cancel out from Yike going in with the cease and desist. We get to see it in the replay here, but just about managing to hit the blast cone and get himself out of that. But as you say, like pushing bot side was in an even point, so Hansama and Mikyx were able to try and move across, but you just don't really have the damage to try and set this up as easily as we'd like. Even getting out of the grasp or the ultimate, and okay, BB's dead. Myrwn, that's 2 solo kills for Myrwn now.
Just doing things.
He's popping off.
Playing just as well on the Gwen as some of his signature picks like that Fiddlesticks top. And showing BB his place. Follow Radiance now complete for BB, but when Myrwn's beating him with only a blasting wand and a recurve bow, you have to wonder how that matchup's going to go as the game progresses. MDK in such commanding control of this game.
Yeah, I mean, BB goes for the knockback, manages to get it, but on the 14.1B as well, the ratio on the passive was nerfed a little bit, but Myrwn still confident to go for it, managing to hit all of those ultimate stacks. Just ripping through the health bar of BB there.
Myrwn just telling BB to watch this ratio as he takes them out. And 1.5k lead now for MDK, even with the double support items. You can see bot lane actually relatively even, but 1,000 gold ahead now for Elyoya. 202 Kraken Slayer complete. The Void Grub's about to spawn in around 30 seconds as well, as we do see Supa caught out, has to burn the flash. Couldn't risk being caught with the Chain of Corruption.
Yeah, you can see at the moment though, Hansama is getting the hit onto his farming capabilities. His Cap's going to get caught. I'm not going to talk about the spot side.
The flash. We'll be able to just dash away, puts the wall up, forces Fresskiowy away from the fight, but Caps once again chunked out. Does have the TP in about 25 seconds time.
I think this is so cool to see though from MDK is actually Mikyx's going to get caught here as well now.
Mikyx has flash. Supa has the arrow flashed away. Hansama dodges to the other side. Hostile takeover coming in. That's going to hit Hansama, who will chip away at Mikyx. Yike going in onto Supa, who will fall even through the bailout. Fresskiowy on his way, but remember, no Pop Blossom for that Neeko, so G2 just get the wave in. Can look for a little bit more if anyone comes to defend, but thankfully for MDK, no one decides to step up.
So it's a good read from Yike to be in that position on the bot side, because essentially what MDK are consistently trying to do is burn stuff on Caps in the mid lane, so then they can always threaten the invade, because Caps realistically without the ult is significantly less threatening if Elyoya is invading onto that bottom side. So with Fresskiowy being able to get that control, MDK are like, cool, let's try and go for some sort of play on the bottom side where we've already pushed Caps back and got him low, but Yike kind of reads it, gets into a position where he's decent. But now MDK picking up this top side once more, at least getting some of these void grubs for themselves. BrokenBlade in the area, but I think he's just kind of here to window watch, as MDK will be able to back away from us.
Yeah, BrokenBlade just playing Spectator League of Legends. Usually we charge an entry fee for that here in the LEC Arena, but he got to do it for free this game. In fact, he's being paid to be here, so it's pretty nice for him, but he's struggling in this lane against Myrwn, who has now finished that Nash's Tooth. The Void Grub's going over to MDK. I believe they picked up all 6 this game, if I recall the earlier plays correctly. I do, as Rob gives me the thumbs up. Thanks for that, Rob.
No worries. I'm here for moral support and, well, the thumbs up support, apparently.
We are looking at getting the Void Grubs on the overlay. Unfortunately, it wasn't available for this week. We'll get it as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think the this is kind of like the scenario where I think for MDK, they're like, okay, we have Myrwn, who's going to start outscaling BrokenBlade even more than he is currently, because you just get so much true damage coming off of the Gwen, and you got the opportunity to try and play off the Void Grubs in the mid game. So as long as you're able to prevent G2 from starting to take turrets or starting to get control on this bottom side of the map, you're in a good spot. But I do think for MDK, you have to start looking at this dragon, because if G2 are able to go, right, we can take 2 dragons, leave that in the mid game, but then we're just able to play out our game as we want to.
Now we're going down, Hansama with a cleanse. Elyoya coming in, Yike just off to the side as well. Important to note that difference in summoner spells between the 2 AD carries. Hansama went cleanse for the arrow and for, all the other CC, but Supa went for the ghost. So if he is ever caught out by the chain of corruption, it can be a very sticky wicket for him to play. Alvaro should be able to walk out of the top of this one. We'll take a chunk of damage, even the Zazaks, in fact, from Mikyx, not going to burn him down. Yike will be able to take the Drake because of that force in the bottom lane. So now MDK looking down the barrel of 2 Drakes. Will be a Chemtech Soul. Still not that powerful as Souls go, but G2 also opening up this bot side of the map. And you see the lead they've started to develop. It's been relatively even in terms of kills, in terms of CS. A 15 CS lead isn't that monumental in the bottom lane, but those support items giving them leads in both the AD carry and the support role for G2.
Yeah, and that's where I was kind of saying for MDK, look, it's nice that you've got this control from Myrwn, but you need to get control over this bottom side a little bit more, because the second dragon going across the G2 means in the mid game, they can kind of just ignore what if you're going to try and contest for third dragon as MDK and go and play to cancel out Myrwn on the top side. They can look for plays elsewhere, and that's kind of been where G2 have managed to bring back their deficits in the early game in their 2 wins so far. So for MDK, they definitely have to keep their eyes out. Although a Rift Herald that could be plunked down in the mid lane could certainly help out, but I think it'll be in the next minute and a bit that we see that happen.
I think especially with the Void Mites, you get Mites if you ride it, plus Mites if you've already collected the Void Grubs, and then when you attack the tower as well, you get more Mites, and you soon
very
become
mighty.
This sort of, it's very mighty. I like that one, that was good. But yeah, it becomes this unstoppable horde of Mites just sprinting at you. For G2, they'll have to make sure that they play around the possibilities of this Herald very well. And they don't have to play around the possibility of it, because it's become a certainty in the mid lane. Elyoya will ride the Herald, charge it straight into the tower, the hostile takeover, hits onto Hansama, there's the arrow as well, no cleanse on him, Spectral Maw for the stun, the CC chain from MDK is enough, and the tower falls to the power of the mighty Mites. The Rift Herald now going to charge in once again, Supa will get chucked out of it, get a shield as well, and more Mites come in. The more grubs you've collected, the more Mites come out of that charge. And it does actually, I was talking about this with a team yesterday, it does the same amount of damage whether you ride it or not, but that's quite a lot of damage going onto Fresskiowy, but he gets the shield. The bailout enough to help him out. And MDK get another kill as G2 look for the engage. They might even get another tower out of this. MDK accelerating through that mid game. The Rift Herald used perfectly by them to just snowball that mid push.
There was no reason for Yike to go in, though. You had already pushed them away. You were like, look, the play is dead. Caps was overextending the bot lane, so maybe it was like, I can make a pick onto Alvaro as the rest of MDK try and shove Azir off this bottom side. But good ult here from Alvaro to make sure that Hansama is just a sitting duck for Elyoya as he goes in, ton of damage, mid lane tower goes down. And then here it's like, Caps is still shoving in that bottom side, which I think is a bit over aggressive, because this is why MDK feel perfectly fine to start threatening in and get the second charge entirely easily. But here, I mean, yes, you've got Alvaro, but Mikyx just doesn't quite have the damage to follow up. Yike also doesn't really have anything to contribute once he gets knocked up, and you've even got Alvaro in a position there to make sure that he's got the bailout. So I think just a massive overextension coming through from G2, which nets another turret and the goal going across on the kill.
And often you can find in these sorts of situations that you think you've caught the enemy, and because you feel so far behind, you're 7-2 down, 2 towers to 1, you've lost out on all the grubs, the Rift Herald's charging in, you're like, oh, we can make a play here. yes, it's probably a 30-70 play, but let's make it because if we catch him, we get his bounty, we get to start getting back into this game.
Yeah, I think it's just, you've already made the call that, hey, look, we are giving mid-tower to get gold on Caps.
Sure.
And that is definitely what they're trying to play for here. Caps has been solo farming the spot side this entire time. The Azir, highest level on the team, like, they know that Caps is essentially going to be the win condition here for this game. So, like, cool, let's try and get him rolling. But if that's going to be the case, then why are you trying to get extra gold onto your jungle and support? Because that's realistically where that gold was going to go. So I think these are the mistakes that G2 have seen a lot. Might be a little bit more.
Has the cleanse. Grasping Roots did land onto Elyoya. But I totally agree with you. It can feel like you're trying to make too many plays at once or just trying to make a play when you don't actually need to. BrokenBlade trading with Myrwn here in the top side as the Yike comes across. The all-out pulls Myrwn back. And remember, still no flash on that Gwen. She might be immune, but that immunity falls off relatively quickly. Mikyx stunned up by Elyoya. Spectral Maw coming out, and Mikyx should ball hit. Flashes the Heartbreaker in the opposite direction. Alvaro, though, with a nice handshake, pulls him back to his demise. A deal with the devil there for Mikyx. And now perhaps a mid push coming out from MDK. They've got the wave in. They'll look towards bot tier 1, bot tier 2 perhaps. Instead just a reset as Fresskiowy will be able to take at least the tier 1.
And I think what we're going to see is, look, G2 say, hey, we're going to just leave Hansam in mid lane, try and get the push here for Caps on his top side and try and trade for the Dragon that's coming up in 25 seconds. But from that point on, it's just going to become impossible to try and play the game. Mad Lions, Koi will be able to push in mid, start to establish vision on that top side. And again, it's just G2 trying to make picks where they aren't strong on the map. Elyoya alongside Alvaro. Elyoya is going to rip through Mickey's health bar, and when he has no real opportunity to try and escape because of the chase down potential on Mad Lions Koi, and also just great handshake there from Alvaro. Sets it up beautifully, but you're making your play on the top side of the map. Again, you don't need to try and make 2 plays at once.
It's one of the fundamentals of League of Legends. Just do one thing at one time. The other side gives up the pressure that they could exert. Great teams obviously will be able to make more than one play as we see G2 trying to make a play up towards the top lane. Myrwn falls once again. Even though his laning phase was fire, Myrwn now is falling down the list of gifts that you'd want to give. A little bit below gold win and frankincense win in my estimation right now is Myrwn.
Terrible. That was so
was
bad.
Really bad, I agree. Red buff taken by MDK, but
you
G2,
can have your gift back, actually.
G2 actually starting to even out this gold lead. The Dragon as well hasn't been taken by MDK. As we said, Kemso not that important. Hansama flashes away from Fresskiowy, who's going in with the rocket bow. Elyoya spotted by the Oracles. And now MDK will just push out mid, can try and regain control of their top side, but while all of this is happening, BrokenBlade's pushing another lane, and G2 are starting to weave their way around this map in a way that we have seen G2 do so many times.
Yeah, and I think this is why they've been so good when it comes to playing from behind this bit, because when you look at the map, you want to try and threaten this mid push to then go for Dragon if you're playing on Mad Lions Koi. But the biggest problem that you're having is that every time they try and contest into the mid lane, you're having this big push in the top side coming through from Caps, and he's just sitting there the entire time. Maybe Yike's in position as well. And then as you try and settle that up, well, Myrwn's getting countered on that top side. And now it's actually G2, because they've ended up with having to push it. They got the control on bot side and they got control on top. Mad Lions have to answer on the side lanes and they can't really contest for the Dragon. So G2 just outplaying on the map at the moment.
Yeah, they really are. Alongside that, the key point of MDK's ire, Hansama has now got himself a Celestial opposition, a baby crown on the Varus. I think often we look towards the damage items because this double support itemization started with Bloodsong. Yeah. Because Sheen is nice, you know, a free Sheen is pretty good.
PTA decent on as well, yeah.
It's pretty nice, you know. But then we've seen AD carries go for this more defensive option with the Celestial opposition. Obviously we have the Zazas as Caps tries to shuffle away a little bit, gets out of vision, and MDK can't find anything.
You need to stop watching Cage's stream because you're saying the wrong thing every single time.
Zazak. I know it's Zazak, but Zaza, like, the audience connects with it, you know what I'm saying?
But Mickey, hopefully not getting connected with there, but I think the big thing here is that I actually don't like it because I don't think you're going to get a huge amount of damage that's going towards that backline. You probably already lost the fight because you poked Varus if you are the one that's getting connected with. So maybe the poke could have been a bit better, but maybe he's worried about just how far ahead MDK are, and he's got a solo push mid that's where he's worried about, but it can always change. I think it's like 160 gold to try and change it.
Yeah,
so
if you sell the item and then you buy back the initial, the Atlas of Worlds, I believe the first one is called, then you get the completed item automatically. You don't have to farm up all the gold again. So I think it might be 240 gold you spend on it, I think. But it's not a large investment as Myrwn is shuffled back here. Yike looking for the damage. Myrwn going to try and dash across the wall, but he doesn't have time as G2 collapse again. Alvaro now caught out as well. Yike standing on that Blastco, and Alvaro trying to click it, but he just can't get onto it. Hostile takeover will force BrokenBlade back, as will the Blastco. And Elyoya now stepping in, looking to see perhaps if he can steal away this Baron. No top lane up for MDK. He does have TP, 27 seconds away. MDK will see the Baron as they step around the corner. 6,000 HP on it. TP behind as Fresskiowy looks for a flank position. MDK might just be calling for the fight after the Baron has fallen. Fresskiowy gets a 3-man knockup, but the rest of the team aren't close enough to close in. Hunsummer will fall first. Fresskiowy has to pop the stopwatch, but immediately goes pop afterwards, and now Caps is sliding forward and gliding forward. Elyoya falls. The bailout brings him back for a second, but it's not enough before he's shut out of the fight. G2 ace MDK around the Baron.
The team fight from G2 is just too strong. Fresskiowy thought he saw the play in his eyes, but no one there to follow. G2 capitalized, and just like that, again, G2 managed to swing back from an early game deficit.
We've seen it so many times over the years. MDK, their early game was sublime. They shot G2 out of it, but all G2 needed was a few moments, a couple of items, and they started pulling MDK around the map.
Yeah, and you can see the problem here is that BrokenBlade has completely shifted Elyoya towards that top side. Mikyx just consistently threatening these lockups on towards Supa, so he can't really follow up as well. So as Fresskiowy goes in, the follow-up damage from Mad Lion's Koi isn't really there, even when Hansama goes down. And then with the amount of extra damage that you're able to pump out as Caps, and even with Mikyx as your support on the Zyra, it works out so well for G2 in that one. And Roman breathing a sigh of relief in the background.
Dylan's just like, yeah, it's another day in the office. You know, we've been here before. We're used to this sort of play. The dragon up in a minute and a half now.
Do you think he gets any sort of adrenaline rush when he's like parachuting or jumping off a cliff or whatever the hell else it is? It's just, I feel like G2 just gives you more excitement.
All of his serotonin, reuptake synapses, they're just done, man.
Well, yeah.
There's no endorphins in his brain. There's no neurotransmitters left. That's 1 years of casting G2, playing for coaching. Wow.
It's a tough day for you.
All of the neurotransmitters have gone out of my brain as well, it seems. Caps trading with Myrwn. And Myrwn losing out on that trade right now. He'll try and snip him. The Caps can just wait this out. Myrwn doesn't really have many ways out apart from the dash. The arrow's going to land onto Mikyx, puts down the grasping roots. Myrwn losing to Caps, as we said, as Caps will take the kill. Hunsummer getting caught, though, and locked out by MDK. MDK able to make a play on the other side of the map. BrokenBlade and Yike now pushing forward. Mikyx no ult. Used it in that last engage. Caps does have the TP. Baron remaining for 40 seconds here for G2, but doesn't look like they're going to be able to crack the inhibitor line. Just trying to get a bit more chip damage on this tier 2.
Doesn't even look like they'll get the tier 2, so I mean, Myrwn does end up giving his life, but the fact you managed to hold on to some of these outer structures is definitely going to help out Mad Lion's Koi when it comes to if they can defend that top side of the map. But with Dragon's Soul coming up and available now in just 30 seconds, it is Chemtech Soul, so maybe MDK just are like, hey, we'll try and give it. But yeah, Caps is massive at the moment. 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. Rabadon's Death Cap moving up towards his third item. This was what G2 were playing for, with leaving him in a side lane for so long, and you can see the total gold there reflects just how much he's been able to pick up.
Yeah, even the difference between Hansama, who's 1-4-2 with the same CS as Supa, but has 1,200 gold lead. He's sold his support item now. He's like, yep, got all the use I need out of that. No need for it anymore. Just takes the extra 1,000 gold and leaves. Caps, though, has just lost the game for G2. He's bought a Medjais. And as we know, as soon as you buy the Medjais, you're going to start dying. So, unfortunate G2 fans. MDK are going to be 3-1 after this little battle.
I mean, this is looking good for G2, though. Look at where Caps is pushing Myrwn out. And Myrwn doesn't really have a good TP ward. He has to kind of come into the face of G2 if he wants to do anything. And Caps is just able to roam down. So G2 abusing that fact to the moment to set themselves up nicely here.
MDK really need those flank positions as well, and you can see the sides are warded. Mikyx gating off Myrwn from the top side. Fresskiowy on a ward. G2 will just wait it out. Cease and desist. Caps jumps across. They decide who their target is. Fresskiowy the first one. Elyoya trying to get onto Caps. He dodges away with a Heartbreaker. Perfectly played there by Elyoya. The root going down onto Yike as well as Elyoya tries to trade back in. Yike trying to get back into the pit, but he can't get there in time as Supa takes the Drake, and this is a great fight for MDK. The lockdown on Caps, and Myrwn shutting BrokenBlade out.
The fact that Caps hit nobody with that ultimate is a disaster. The stopwatch and the Heartbreaker from Elyoya did so much work, and even on the opposite side, Myrwn hitting up towards his 2 items as well, just soloing out BrokenBlade. MDK find the fight that they need off the back of that. They can push out waves, and with Baron in a minute and a half, they should be able to get some sort of control there.
Mikyx stopped, gets the root down, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Elyoya no ult. The blast cone for Mikyx will mean that he escaped to safety. Elyoya might just use this opportunity to steal away a Gronk. Let's have another look at this fight.
Yeah, because it starts off well. As you say, Mikyx, Mark, and Myrwn, Fresskiowy, they tried to turn onto him here, but they don't really have the follow-up. Hansama is trying to keep people at bay from the river, and as Elyoya comes over the wall, he's got so much damage. This beautiful Heartbreaker on the timing there finishes him off. Yike is now stuck in a difficult position, also gets rooted thanks to Fresskiowy there. And on the top side, G2 aren't even winning either. Myrwn is doing so much damage with Supa as well to try and force Hansama back. They're just able to pick off BB, so really nicely done by Mad Lions Koi.
Yeah, it's part of the risk of the lethality Varus as well, is you kind of shoot your shot, and then after that you're waiting to get your damage back up. If Caps is there, obviously he can put a huge amount of consistent DPS down in the fight, but you see only 2 players on G2 getting over that 1k damage in the last fight mark. MDK delaying the soul. They get their first Drake of the game, as we've said. Chemtech Drake, not the most impactful in the game, but denying the soul also delays the Elder, which means you can get to 3 items on Supa. You can get Myrwn to 4 items. He's gone Crypt Bloom as well, just to try and help out his team that little bit more.
And most importantly, the stacks are now done for Caps as
Told
well. You nailed it. I didn't think, I wasn't a believer, but now I see. And Mickey!
Ooh, flash just short there. See Alvaro trying to get in for the flash handshake, but couldn't get in range. Myrwn catching the mid wave as MDK are trying to stop G2 from being able to enter into this river. They're managing it for now, but with the wave pushed up, G2 now have an opportunity. You can see the sun disc goes up. They don't know where anyone is yet, G2, but MDK have started the Baron. It's down to 10,000. Where's Fresskiowy? Where's Fresskiowy? Because that's what you've got to think about in these situations. He's flanking, he's waiting, he's lying. Perhaps to see if G2 overstep. Myrwn forced away by Caps. And that is a trade he doesn't want to take. Caps already level 17, 3 items, or 2.5, considering he's got a Menchize in the middle there. Fresskiowy looks for some damage on Mickey, now spotted. Tries to dash away, and MDK will just reset.
Caps is putting pressure down in the mid lane to try and force Myrwn to deal with it. So as long as they can dance here, G2 are happy.
Mickey has no flash, and Elyoya is looking for him. The blast cone away once again. G2 will start up the Baron. All 5 members of G2 here. Myrwn catching mid.
You have a lot of poke here, but there's the all-in from Breeby.
Breeby looking for it. Hasn't used that ultimate as of yet. 6,000 HP on the Baron. BrokenBlade dances back. Elyoya low. 3,000 now on the Baron as Myrwn goes forward. Hostile takeover only hits onto BB. That's not really the target you want. Fresskiowy goes in, only hits onto BB. It's still not the target you want as the Baron falls to G2. Hansama flashing away. Caps trading down towards the bottom side. Fatigue finds an answering kill. Mikyx already fallen, but G2 now start to collapse. Elyoya caught out. Nothing he can do, the last man standing, but G2 wipe away MDK.
The patience from G2 paying off dividends there. They know, hey look, we've got Zyra poke, Hansama poke, Caps outranges so many members of MDK. As long as we can continue to play this slow, we can whittle them down bit by bit and force MDK to go all out. And G2 are more than happy to welcome them into their waiting arms.
That's just going to be the game. G2 should be able to get through these towers like a hot knife through butter. MDK put up a really good fight in the early game. They had the advantage, but G2's ability just to play around the map was a little bit too much today. G2 will meet SK at the top of the scores at 3-1.
Same day, or different day, same G2. Yeah, I mean, it's been very much the story that has been written for G2, not having control in the early stages, and even a sideways look from the back end staff there. But I think that's the main thing, is like you've got control is gone wonky every single time in the early stages, specifically in the bot lane for the first week. We're able to get control, but on your screen you can see they were able to bring it back in the mid game, and your players to watch were BrokenBlade, Yike, or Caps for your player of the game.
You can vote at LEC on X for that. And as you say, bot lane went a little bit awry. Unsurprising, no bot laners, no bot lane or support on the player of the game votes. But yeah, great to see G2 managing to pick up that win. Obviously, MDK played really well as well, so looking forward to seeing how they can continue through week 2. After the break, we'll have an interview with Hansama. Don't you go anywhere.